Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to cover the basic stock charts. We're going to anticipate where the market's going to head. I think we're due for a pretty substantial reversal coming soon, and this looks like we're close to the top. Let's look at the charts and let the charts dictate that to us. But the signs are there, the setup's there, and if it plays out, then we could get a pretty big move to the downside. So let's look at the SPY here. We'll just go through the various charts I've been watching. This will give us a general read on the market. So the SPY here on the hourly chart, notice that we've been in this upward channel. And if I mark this out in purple here, just to outline that, but we've been in this rising channel, pretty tight, range really, and it's just been going up. Most of the moves, though, actually, especially towards the end, have been made in the gap. In gapping or the overnight trading. So we have here's the pattern that I'm seeing. We're gapping higher in the futures market, and then we're selling off during the regular session. That's not a good sign that this move higher has participation from institutional investors. That's actually a sign that they're using the gaps higher to distribute or sell into the strength. And let me show you what let me show you. So here's a move. We gapped higher, and we really just went sideways, popped a little bit, but ultimately closed the day, really closed lower over a couple days. Here's another move. Now this move, they did buy it, slightly. Then we gapped higher again, sold off. Then we gapped higher again. We've started to sell off. Here's a move. Now, this isn't necessarily a gap. I mean, it's a small gap. We popped a little bit. Move higher in the morning, sell off. And that's just something to take notice. It doesn't mean that we can't go higher. It just shows that, it's important to not just watch the price action, but watch the difference between the price action in the futures or the overnight markets and the regular trading day. That'll give you an idea of what the big players, the institutions, are doing. And I see no signs, absolutely zero, that the institutions are buying this breakout. Let me explain a little bit further. If you look at the daily chart, yes, we have a rising price channel, but the volume down here, look at the volume. And if I mark this volume out, you can see that, if I hover right over it, we've got declining volume, and we have volume that's just pretty anemic. This is the kind of volume that you see. Like here's another low level right in here. If I mark it out, we had low volume right here. We also had, we have the same low volume right here. And you can notice that correlated with this top right here. And right before a big drop. If I move it along, this is pretty low volume right in here. You can see low volume. There was a little drop. But really, it's the breakouts that are the key. Seeing really low volume on a breakout, to me, that's the tell. That's the tell that this is not being bought. This breakout's not being bought. And then when I look at the hourly chart and I see the price action of gapping up, selling off during the day, especially up here near the top, that tells me that, institutions are selling into the strength. I could be wrong, but that's my read on this so far. So that's the SPY. Where do we go from here? Well, we've got this price channel. We're looking to see this price channel break. As of right now, we've started to break today. It's not super impulsive, but maybe in this last hour, I'm putting this video, going to try to get this video out before the market closes. If we continue and pick up selling, then that would be a pretty confirmed break, and look for volume to pick up. All right, let's jump over to and then on the upside, if we retain, we might easily recover this channel. And if we do, then we're still in the channel and this could still grind higher. And where does it go? Well, we have got this blue line way up here at about 312. We could go all the way up there and tag that. And that corresponds with these two tops. There's only two tops though. Well, we have this one, but ultimately it's these tops here. So if this wants to go up and tag that 312 and then sell off, then that would confirm this as a trend line. As of right now, it's just a potential trend line. It's not an actual trend line. Since we only have 2 data points, you need more than 2 to confirm a trend line. Moving on to the Qs. So green line here, this top green line, I've adjusted my bearish rising wedge basically, and we have this green line here. Again, this one actually looks a little more valid as a trend line because we have the top here, the cluster right here, a couple data points right here, and then as we move in right here, you can see on the hourly chart we started to react right around this level. They gapped it up over the level, but it still closed the day down below. Here we closed above the day, but the very next day closed down below. And then again here, they popped it up over the level, and it looks like we're starting to sell off again. So this is holding as resistance, and they keep just trying to pop it up over the resistance, whether it's in the gap or during the day, but ultimately it keeps failing. So shows like that tells me that this price action, this trend line here is a valid trend line. It's holding as resistance. So what you'd want to look for is this to break down back into this resistance and start to fail, or if they can really start to run it higher and break above this level, probably the highs of this recent range here, if they could start to break above this level and hold on a daily close, then that might be a confirmed breakout out of this resistance level. And then, we'll keep going. Now, if you look, also the purple lines here is your rising channel, and it's been holding within that channel. So right now, we're basically right at support of the purple rising channel, and we're also at support of the larger bearish rising wedge. So if we break here, we're breaking dual support, and that, so look for a break here or a gap down tomorrow, something that shows a sell signal. Until then, there's nothing there. So we'll just wait for that. Volatility, really low volatility. So I'm starting to get interested. I've actually bought a little bit of TVIX, starting to get interested in holding a position in this, looking for expansion and volatility. The Fed speaks tomorrow. They might kick off the volatility expansion, and that would maybe get us the breakdown that we're looking for. So gold, really the only thing I can say is gold is in a bull market. The reason why I say that, and I'm going to just do this quickly because I've said this over and over, and if you don't believe me, then I don't know if you ever will believe me, but you have this long-term rounding bottom. This goes back all the way to 2013. We based out, we hit the low right here, and it's a rounding bottom. We then had a confirmed break higher. This is on the weekly chart, so this is long-term trending price action. Weekly chart breakout, and this is a bull flag. All we've been doing is flagging out. Yes, this is a very impulsive week, a lot of selling, but in a bull market, when you have bullish chart, especially on the longer time frames, you want to buy into support, and that's exactly what I've been doing. And you can look here on the daily. Here's your flag. We've just been hitting this lower trend. We're holding at support. There might be a small little fake out where they try to drop it below here, but again, you buy it at support. So that's what I'll continue to do. And here's the Barrett Gold chart. Let me pull that one up. And here's JNUG. I was kind of eyeballing this one. I don't trade this one too often, but again, a bullish falling wedge. And this is something you want to look to buy on a breakout of the wedge. Or you can buy it down here at support. You can buy it down here or buy it up here at the breakout. I think gold is in a longer term bullish pattern, so I'd prefer to buy it cheaper down here at support. And then Barrett Gold, this one's just been, really tradable recently, just very clean support and resistance. It's reacting really good around support and resistance. So ultimately, we came down, we've been writing this support line down here in this flag. This is a bullish pattern. It is a bullish falling wedge. It should resolve breaking out and move higher, and ultimately breaking above this high of $20, 20 and change basically. But every single time it's been dipping into this support line, I've been adding to the position. And I did so again today. We tagged this 1611 and went a little bit lower, but I grabbed it right at like 1611, bought a little bit more, and straight off of that line, we shot straight up. And so, it's been trading very well around this support. This is a very strong support. There's a lot of buyers looking to add or build positions like myself into this weakness, and that's what I'll continue to do. If we fall, now at this point, we've got another support line, a horizontal support line at 1580, 1590 right here, and we're really close to it. So I could easily see us selling off, tagging that, and I'll be adding to that position as well. At this point, I'm probably not going to add anything when we get down to the support line here. I'm not going to be adding any more because we're so close to this lower support line, this horizontal one. I'll probably hold off and look to add at that support line there. And then if we ultimately fall down here, because we had a gap right here. Here's your gap. If I zoom in on the hourly chart, you can see there's your gap right here. Small little gap, but it's really the only gap that I can find in the chart as of right now, and that gap has not been filled. So if we sell off, past here and really have a strong selling day and break down, then I'll hold off and I'll look to be adding down in this range here, probably anywhere from $15 to $14.60. I'll be buying pretty aggressively down around there because ultimately I see that as really the last level of support. So there should be a lot of buying down in that level. NUGT, I wasn't fast enough this morning to grab this one, but I did see it. And let me just zoom it out. Again, you've got this support line, really clean line. I mean, it's just tagged it perfectly several times. And every single time we bounced off of it, and it was no different today. Came down, tagged it, just, didn't quite get there, but got really close. Pennies, basically, 24.66, and bounced right off of that and shot straight up to 26.57. So, almost a $2 move off that low, and that's some good profit. You can see it's up 2.87% already. So that's a pretty good move right there. So again, gold is bullish. That's about most I can say. MasterCard, this one, I pitched this one. I got rid of this one. I have not bought back into this one just because, the price action. I have this downward sloping trend line, but we dropped it. We recovered it. So ultimately, I see resistance is up here around this 280 level. You can see we've tagged it several times. It's a horizontal range. And again, we came really close. We're starting to continue to sell off. But it's in no man's land right now. If you want to get short this thing, you could look at 280 or long, a break above that. You could look to get long with a stop just underneath 280. But this one I'm not touching as of right now. All right, moving along, and then I'm going to loop back to the general markets for one final review. Apple, nothing but bullish. There's nothing bearish here. The only thing I could say on a contrarian play, and there's no trade to be made right now. There's nothing to trigger a short entry to work against, but you can see that the volume's been dropping off. Here's your volume. It's been dropping off as price has been moving higher. So that's a divergence. So just keep an eye on that. It just gives you an idea that there's a potential for a setup. Also, the RSI, you can see right here, we're at almost at, we're at 78 and a half, pretty overbought. And if you look at the chart here, every time we've gotten to that level, here's a level right here. We were right near the peak right there. Moving along, right here's a level. We had a little bit of a sell-off right here, a couple days of selling right when we were up at that 78 RSI. Moving here, this was 82, and we were right here, right at the top, at this peak. So the point is that we're very overbought. We are above resistance, but we are overbought. And the breakout here above this black line, which is the decade-long bull market trend line, we broke above it, but the volume's really light. So what I'm watching for, I'm not going to be long this because the RSI is overbought, and we've got really low volume on this breakout. what I'm looking for is a bull trap. Does this sell off? Do we get a reversal here? A strong reversal down below this trend line here. Let me just adjust it here. And that would be your bull trap right there. So let this thing kind of trade out before you take action. As of right now, there's no action to be made on it. KHC. This one is range bound. We had a breakout. I'm looking to be long this stock. However, we're range bound. Here's your channel right here. And your resistance is right around 33.50. Your support is going to be 31.50 roughly. So on this one, I'd look to just be a buyer when we come into this support range. 31.50, I'd be a buyer. And, you could sell it at the top of the range, or if we break above this range, then I'd probably look, here's your gap entry right here. So if we break above 33.50, you could be a buyer as well. Ride it up to gap entry, probably as your target 1. And if we enter the gap, you could go all the way up to this 42 range as your kind of your second target, or probably your final target really on that trade. So that's that one. Let's look at XLF. XLF has been moving up. My chart is whacked out. XLF has been moving up, and that's pretty much why we've seen a lot of the rallying, because tech and financials have been moving up. I mean, in general, the market's been moving up. We're coming up near a potential resistance line. If I move this out, this is going back to the December 2018 lows. We've got a tag here. Here's an impulsive breakdown candle right here. Came back up as a back test here. Didn't quite get there. We're back testing again. This is a pretty steep incline, so I'm not sure if we're going to get all the way up there. But if we do, that's probably the spot that you'd want to look to short the XLF. And going back to the Qs, again, something to take notice of also on the daily chart. You notice these doji candles. Here, this is a dragonfly doji. There's another one. There's another one. That's nothing really. And then today, if we close right in here, then that's a gravestone doji. So we're basically getting these doji candles up here signaling that the momentum is pretty much shifting. There's a battle going on right up here between the buyers and the sellers. The bulls are trying to bid this thing higher, but they're running out of momentum, and the sellers are starting to come in and build momentum, and that's what this signals. That's why the price action that you see is, let's go to the hourly chart. That's why you see the bulls trying to bid it up, but then the sellers come in and sell it off, and there's a battle happening between both. So that signals that we have the potential for a reversal, especially with the low volume. If the sellers come in a big way and kick up the volume, then the buyers aren't really there. There's just a low amount of buyers, and that's signaled by the volume. So there's not a lot of sellers, but there's not a lot of buyers. So if the sellers do decide to come in right here and sell the market, the buyers aren't there, so they'll win the battle, and we'll see a reversal. That's it for the video. I'll get this thing out there. Good luck, everyone. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll keep pumping out the content. Again, comment down below on where you think the market's heading. Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we going to continue moving up? If so, why? What technicals do you see that tell you that the market's going to go higher? And if you think we're going to go lower or have a reversal or a breakdown, what do you see that maybe I haven't pointed out? And I'm curious to know. And we're all in this together. So thanks, everyone. Catch you on the next one.